Shalom, Yahweh Shem Sharp Gatham. So the brothers that are here and to the brothers watching online, Shalom Yahweh Shema Aratav Bashim Yeshai, to the sisters that are in attendance and to the sisters that are watching. I'm Priest and Officer Shargapan of the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General YAHANNA. And since 1969, we've been teaching everybody the laws, statutes, and commandments of God. And when I mean everybody, I mean so-called Black, so-called Hispanics, and so-called Native Americans. And today's topic, we're going to be getting into what God said we could and could not eat. Okay, as you all probably know, there's been a lot of speculation that this COVID-19, this coronavirus, came from Moabites eating bats, Chinese people eating bats. When you look at the Chinese diet, or let's just say the Asian diet, you see they eat a lot of things that are just bizarre. They'll eat their pet cat, their pet dog. They'll raise rats in rat farms and feed them organic brown rice to make it a clean rat instead of just a street rat that you'll find running around in the street wherever you are. And they just eat all types of bizarre things. Like one thing I saw recently was a geodude or a geoduck, some type of water snail that has a hard shell, and then it has an elongated member of its body that sticks out. When you bite into it, lots of fluid and water comes out. It's very disgusting. So we're going to go into what the Most High said we can and cannot eat. All right. So as you get settled, I would like you for all of you all to open up your swords, open up your Bibles, your King James Bible, and we're going to go into the book of Leviticus. Chapter 11. I'm sorry, no. Go to the book of Genesis, right? Chapter 7. I'm going to start at the first verse, all right? For everyone that's watching online right now, I'm posting the sign-in sheet. That way you can sign in and take attendance. That way you can join the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Get your Hebrew name. Keep track, so we can keep track of how often you attend class. We can welcome you officially into the school. For all you brothers that want to join the school and stand for the Lord in His truth, you got to wear all black for a minimum of 90 days, So make sure you sign on this attendance sheet. It's posted in both the Facebook Live and the YouTube Live. So make sure you sign in and check in with that as well. All right, so brother, you got the scripture? So all you gotta do is flip the switch up, and that way it's on. All right, go ahead, brother.
Genesis chapter 7, verse 1. And the Most High said unto Noah, Come, thou and all thy house into the ark, for thee have I seen righteous before me in this generation.
Now, many people are very confused on what Noah actually brought into the ark. Now, sis, I remember you saying last week when we briefly touched upon this. What did you say the Christian church taught you that Noah brought onto the ark? You got the mic? Yeah.
They said 2 by 2, a man and female of each animal.
Yes. And as we're about to read, as you found out last Wednesday, and as we're about to read, brother, you can keep reading.
Chapter 7, verse 2. Of every clean beast thou shalt take to thee by sevens.
By what?
By sevens.
What kind of beast?
Clean beast.
So here we're already wiping that lie that the Christian church has taught us. This is why here in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, we have been exposing all these lies, the hypocrisy, the false prophets of the Christianity, of Catholicism, of Islam, of all these different man-made religions that are spread about the earth, right? So we're taught, because I was taught the same thing in the Catholic Church and going to Catholic school, just like you were taught the same thing in the Christian church. We're taught that only 2 animals of one male, one female of each animal, of each of his kind, went onto the ark. But right here, the verse 2, we learn that of every clean beast, that 7 of them were taken. So every clean animal, 7 of them were taken, male and female. And this can also can be used about that doctrine I hear some people trying to use, how the reason why men can't have multiple wives is because Noah, when he went onto the ark, he took a male and female of each animal. Someone tried to use that argument to help them push the idea that men can only have one wife. Well, a man can have one wife, no wives, or as many wives as he wants. There is no law that goes against that particular thing. However, there are laws that tell a man how he should conduct himself and how he should treat his wives, right? So back to this, right? They took 7 clean animals, male and female. So we don't know if it was 2 males and 5 females, or if it was 3 males and 4 females, or 1 male and 6 females. However it was, he took 7 clean beasts, male and female, each of their kind, right? Keep going.
And of the beasts that are not clean.
What?
The beasts that are not clean.
So now we're learning that there are clean beasts, and then we're learning that there are beasts that are not clean. All right, keep going.
By the 2, the male and his female.
And this is what the Christian church and the Catholic church like to skip over. They like to skip over the fact that there were clean beasts and that there were 7 that were brought onto the ark. And they go straight to the fact that there were just 2 beasts of each kind, male and female. They don't say that it was clean or unclean. They don't tell you that there were 7 clean. They just tell you that there was 2 of each kind. That's because in the Catholic Church and the Christian church, you can eat all types of diabolical, abominable animals like pigs and shrimp and bats like the Chinese do. And we're going to get into that a bit later. But there's a big difference when you actually read the scriptures for yourself. There's a big difference when you're taught the scriptures by men of the Lord who obey God and follow this Bible as it was written, right? So here we're learning verse 2. There's clean beasts. There's beasts that are not clean, or called unclean beasts. There were 7 clean beasts brought into the ark, and there were 2 of each beast that were unclean brought into the ark. Ready? Keep going.
Chapter 7, verse 3. Of fowls.
Of what?
Fowls.
So fowls, right? Fowls are animals that can fly. So birds. A chicken would be a fowl. Although I don't see chickens flying too often, but I see them jump really high and flapping their little wings, But I've seen turkeys fly up in trees and sit on trees. I've seen quail, pheasant, pigeons, doves. I've seen eagles, right? Keep going.
Of fowls also of the air by 7s.
And we learned that of the fowls of the air, that 7 of them were brought in. Keep going.
The male and the female.
Male and female. So all different types of birds, right? 7 of each species were brought onto the ark, male and female. Keep going.
To keep seed alive upon the face of all the earth.
Right, and all this was done so that way we can have some type of food, some type of nourishment, that food that we can eat, right? And as we learned last week, yes? Can you give her the mic, please?
Is eagles a bird that we can
see
eat?
if the mic is turned on? Yeah, make sure the switch. Just leave it up for the time being. Okay, go ahead.
Eagles.
Are eagles?
Or those are eatable?
What do you think?
I want to eat it.
You don't want to eat it?
No.
Okay, well, we're going to touch upon eagles, Why not? You see an eagle, it has a white head. You have all different types of colors that can come in. Some are big, some are small. They might look meaty, right? Right? Well, listen, we're going to get into that when we get into the book of Leviticus, all right? So as we learned last time in I believe the 2nd book of Genesis, right? No, the 3rd book of Genesis, or 4th book of Genesis, right? Where Abel and Cain brought their sacrifices or their offerings to the Lord, and how Abel brought his meat offering. and how Cain brought his, his pumpkin and his squash and his turnips, right? And the Lord had no respect unto Cain, but he gave all glory and respect and honor unto Abel because he brought him that meat. He brought him that sheep, that bull, whatever of the flock that he brought him, he had respect unto him, right? So we know that we can eat meat. Now let's go to Leviticus chapter 11. We're going to start in verse 1. Give you guys some time to get there, right? For everyone watching online, make sure you sign in, all right?
Chapter 11, Leviticus, chapter 11, verse 1. And the Most High spake unto Moses and to Aaron, saying unto them.
So the Most High is giving Moses instructions to give to Aaron, so that way Aaron can tell us all. If you do not know, or if you know already, Moses, he wasn't as confident speaking because he had like a type of lisp or a stutter. So Aaron, God, the Most High made Aaron his mouthpiece. So whatever the Lord told Moses, Moses told Aaron, and Aaron made sure everyone else understood what the order was. That's how we get our hierarchy from, because there's always a man that communicates to the Most High. Then we have Moses in the situation, Moses who is above Aaron, and then Aaron who follows the orders that Moses gives him from the Most High. All right? So keep going.
Chapter 11, verse 2. Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, these are the beasts which ye shall eat among all the beasts that are on the earth.
So now the instructions that we're getting from the Most High right here is about to tell us what kind of beast, what kind of animals we can actually eat that are all over the earth. So no matter where we are, whether we're scattered all over the earth, whether we're in Puerto Rico, whether we're in New Zealand and India and South Africa and Denmark and Sweden and in Nicaragua and Chile and Argentina, no matter where we're at, we know what kind of animals we can eat. All right, keep going.
Whatsoever parteth the hoof and is cloven-footed and cheweth the cud among the beasts, that shall ye eat.
Now it's saying whatever animal has a part in its hoof and is cloven-footed and cheweth the cud, these are the types of beasts that we can eat. And when it's talking about beasts, it's talking about animals that walk on the land, right? Now, what do you think part in the hoof or cloven-footed means or is?
Like the cow.
Like a cow?
A cow, because it walks on four. It has I can't even remember how cow looks like. But I know that it has what it's talking about, and it's true. And they chew their food down. They really don't eat. They eat grass, so it'll be easier for us to digest meat.
Okay, but what's part of the hoof and cloven-footed? You don't know, brother? Do you know?
Is the part of the hoof like just the toe itself, the front of his foot. I don't know how to explain it, but like you would see sections in his feet. It would be double sided, or section would be cut.
Okay, you're onto it. So let's look. I have the big screen set up right here with Google. Now, some of you may not be able to see this as clearly at home, and some of you actually might. But what I would encourage you all is to actually go on Google, right, and type in cloven-footed. And we'll get to see some examples right here. So this right here is a perfect example. If you can see, I'm going to see if I can make this bigger. Let me save this. Right? Save it right here. Go down. And I'm going to open it up and make it bigger for you all to see. Where'd it go? Sorry, 1 second. Here we are. So this is an animal with a cloven foot, right? You can see how its front two toes up here are separated from each other. Then you have the other feet here that are also separated from each other. This is an example of an animal that has a part in its hoof and or is cloven footed, right? Let me get out of here. Let me show you another example. Where is oh, right here. We can use this image right here. This image right here, you can see that there's a part in its hoof, and it's a part in its hoof. It's cloven footed. The two front toes are separate from each other. Now you mentioned a cow earlier, right? Let's look up a cow's foot. I know a lot of Judites, so-called Negroes, like cow's foot, and Benjamites too, or people from West Indies, from the West Indians. They like to eat cow's feet. They'll eat cow's feet, right? Here's a calf's foot or hoof. See how the cow's hoof is split right here? Can you guys see from here?
God.
So this is what it means when it's cloven footed, right? This is an animal that is cloven footed. Now, what do you think it means when it says that the animal must chew of the cud? I know you said something about eating grass so that way the meat can be digested. Do you want to elaborate on that? What did you mean?
Okay, well, I'm gonna give you an example because when I was first started out this trying to understand what's going on in life, so I was looking on TV and they were like, well, on YouTube, and they were like, we're not supposed to eat meat because we don't have the jaws to eat, and our digestive system is not set up like how meat eaters, which other animals, predators are, and how their digestive system just flows right in, and how that's why the meat gets stuck. And you know what I'm trying to say?
I get it. So, but what does that have to do with chew of the cud?
That's where I'm going to go. So now I had to look, okay, well, the cow eats grass, pig eats dirt, like mud. I was just trying to find a difference. Like, okay, not all animals eat meat. You know what I'm trying to say? So
I do.
So to the digest the meat will be more easier because it's just not a meat eating meat. It's okay, we're eating hay or you're eating the grass, and their system is not. I don't even know where I'm going with this anymore. I'm sorry.
Okay.
My head is a little bit heavy. I'm sorry.
What about you, brother? Want to give it a shot?
I believe chew of the cud is just digesting your food. Make sure you eat your food.
Okay. Well, being here in the I.S.U.P.K, I've learned that it's always good to make sure of things and to look things up. I've learned more than I've learned outside of here, in here. Even with, there's some brothers who got doctorates and who are doctors and all that types of stuff. They learn more information that's valuable to their life and to how they should live right here in the I.S.U.P.K. And part of that reason is because we're told to not to be sure, but to make sure. So let's make sure. Let's type in chew of the cud, right? So all of you at home, type in chew of the cud on your Google machine, your smart device, your handheld computer, and see what it says for chew of the cud. Now, right here, it says that cud is a portion of food that returns from a ruminant stomach. Now, when it means by ruminant, it's talking about an animal, right? To the mouth to be chewed for a second time. More accurately, it is a bolus of semi-degraded food regurgitated from the reticulum of a ruminant. Cud is produced during the physical digestive process of rumination. Now, all that simply means is the animal, after it chews its hay, like you were saying, or the grass, or the wheat, or the flour, or the berries, or the leaves from the trees, or whatever it is, the animal chews it in his mouth, breaks it down, swallows it, and it goes into that animal's stomach. Then the animal throws the food back up into its mouth to further chew on it. The reason why is because some of these things that they're eating, like plants, some of them, it's hard for them to digest properly and fully. So that's why after they chew it, they break it down. The food goes into their stomach. The enzymes in their stomach breaks the food down more. They put it back into their mouth. They chew it down some more, and then it goes back into their stomach. So that way it can be fully processed and fully broken down, right? Sometimes this happens more than once. I know cows, they have more than one stomach. So some animals do this multiple times in just one sitting of eating. So this is what it means when it talks about the animal must chew the cud. So what have we learned so far right now? What kind of beast can we eat? Brother?
Animals, well, beast that's cloven footed or part of the hoof and chew of the cud.
Correct. Now, let's get into. Let's just keep reading, brother. Let's get into this. Let's get back into this scripture. We have verse 4, right?
Leviticus chapter 11, verse 4. Nevertheless, these shall ye not eat of them that chew the cud.
Now we're learning about we should not eat any of the animals that what?
Chew the cud.
Keep going.
Or of them that divide the hoof as...
Stop. So it's saying we should not eat animals that chew the cud or of them that divide the hoof. What's the difference between what we just read here and what we read in verse 3? Can anyone point out the difference? There's a one-word difference that helps you understand the difference between the two laws that were being given. You got it, brother? Want to give it a shot?
I was going to say or of them.
Say again?
The or of them.
What's the first word you said?
Of.
No, that's the second word you said.
Or.
Yes. Now in verse 3, what's the one word that separates from the or? Brother?
The and.
And. So in verse 3, the animal, the beast that we're eating, has to meet both requirements. In order to know what animal you can and cannot eat that walks on this earth, it has to be cloven-footed and cheweth the cud. It has to have a part in its hoof and cheweth the cud. But here in verse 4, it says, we should not eat the animal that cheweth the cud or of them that divide the hoof. So that's the big difference, and we're going to see why. Keep reading.
As the camel.
As the what?
As the camel.
Why?
Because he cheweth the cud.
So it's saying that the camel, which is big out there in the Middle East where our land is big in Africa, you know. The camel, it does what?
Cheweth the cud.
So the animal cheweth the cud. The camel chews the cud. It chews on its food. It goes into the stomach. It spits it back up into his mouth, keeps chewing. It goes back to his stomach, you know. However, keep going.
But divideth not the hoof.
But what?
Divideth not the hoof.
It divideth not the hoof. Now, who believes this? Because I know many people say that the Bible was written by the white man, or the Bible is a fairy tale. It's a fake book, right? Who believes that a camel does not have a divided hoof? Because, you know, many people who go to school, they're smart, right? Or they're supposed to be smart, right? I didn't learn about the anatomy or the physical build of camels going to school. I just grew up knowing, okay, this is a camel, this is a horse, this is a person. You know what I mean? I didn't learn. You listen, you gotta look. What kind of, does a camel have fur? Or does it have hair? Does a camel have one stomach, two stomachs, three stomachs? You know, I didn't learn any of that stuff. I didn't major in anatomy or biology, or I wasn't trying to be a veterinarian. You know, I went to school for law, right? So which one of you believes what this Bible is saying, and which one of you don't believe? Even for the people online, do you believe that camels don't divide the hoof? Go ahead, brother.
I believe everything in this book.
Give that man a hand. Because that's the most smartest thing I've heard all day. And I was at work for 8 hours and I heard some stupid things today. I've seen some ridiculous things today. But that is absolutely correct, because everything that's written in this Bible is the 100% truth. And we're going to find out why, right? So on your Google machine, just type in camel's foot, right? Let's look at some of these things. Here we see a camel's foot, right? It may look like it's cloven footed or part of the hoof, right? But when you look at the bottom of it, it's all one. It's all one hoof. There's no part in it. It's not cloven footed. It's all one hoof that just comes out to two toes. Right? Let's look at another example. If I can get an example of the bottom of the foot. Oh, look right here. Perfect. Look at this example. It's one hoof, and it just has two toes. There's no part in its hoof. It's not cloven footed like we saw of a deer or of a cow. It's all one. So look at, you had the Bible telling you the truth all this time, and you still continue to believe that the Bible's fake. The Bible's false. The Bible's made up. Well, I guess the Bible is made up because you thought camels had some weird feet, but here the Bible is saying that a camel is not cloven footed. It does not have a part in its hoof. And we can see that the camel is not cloven footed. So the Bible's telling the truth, and we just looked it up, right? We saw a bunch of images. So maybe the Bible is true. Maybe it's not just a book of lies and made up nonsense, right? Let's keep going. Keep reading verse 4.
He is unclean unto you.
He is what?
Unclean unto you.
So what does that mean? What does it mean? It says he's unclean unto you, brother.
That means you shouldn't eat it. You shouldn't deal with it.
Correct. This animal is unclean to us, so we should not be even eating the camel. And best believe you, there's some people out there like Arabs or Africans or Asians that probably would eat the camel, right? But we're not those people. Those people are not a set apart people. Those people are not holy people. Therefore, they would eat a camel. However, us being Israelites, we obey these laws, statutes, and commandments, and we're not supposed to eat animals that cheweth the cud and not have a cloven foot, or have a part in the hoof or cloven footed and doesn't chew the cud. We're not supposed to eat animals like that. All right. So the camel is one of those animals that we cannot eat. Keep going.
Chapter 11, verse 5. And the coney.
The what?
The coney.
Who knows what a coney is? Sis, you know what a coney is? And you guys want to give like a wild guess, you know? No?
Maybe a lamb or something in the lamb family. I don't know.
Lamb family?
Lamb's good for us. That's lucky. That's
Go into your Google and type in coney. It looks like a rat, but it's similar to a rabbit, right? Coney is very similar to a rabbit. That's another way of saying a rabbit. Here, there's a rabbit-looking thing here. We got these creatures right here that are calling it a coney, right? Another like rabbit looking here. Look, we got rabbits here, right? Rabbit here, rabbits here. So a coney is another way of saying a rabbit, right? Keep going.
because he cheweth the cud.
What?
Because he cheweth the cud,
Keep going.
but divideth not the hoof.
So whoever seen a rabbit chew its food? See how they're always chewing, right? So it's saying that it chews its food like a cow would. It puts it back in its stomach and can regurgitate it, keep chewing on it, but it doesn't divide the hoof. Now remember, people thought the Bible was all fake and lies, but we just proved them wrong with the whole camel not having a cloven foot, right? So is this correct as well?
That's right.
So would a rabbit not have a cloven foot? Or would a rabbit have a cloven foot? Because remember, people think the Bible's a lie.
He doesn't have a cloven foot.
Okay, keep reading.
He is unclean unto you.
He's unclean, which means that that's an animal that we cannot be eating. Keep reading.
And the hare.
Who knows what a hare is? Brother?
I thought the hare was the rabbit.
Hare is a rabbit. Yes, a hare is another way of saying a rabbit. It's like a rodent. It's basically like a rodent, right? Type in a hare animal, and look, you get all these different types of rabbits. All right here when you type it up. And when we typed up coney, we found rabbits as well and other animals that look similar to rabbits. So I was just checking something from my understanding. So keep going. We keep reading chapter 6.
Because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof.
Say that again.
Because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof.
Because the hare, the rabbit, it chews the cud, but it divideth not the hoof. So who's ever seen a rabbit foot? Because maybe someone might not believe what the Bible's saying right here. Maybe some people might think that it does have a hoof and it is divided. Have you ever seen a rabbit foot?
Come on.
Sis, have you ever seen a rabbit foot? All right, so let's look up a rabbit foot. A camel foot? A bunch of rabbit feet right here. If I can just get a good image. Look at the rabbit feet right here. That's not rabbit feet. Google, you labeled that completely wrong. Probably it's front feet, right? But look at a rabbit's foot. See its foot right here? And then it has these, like, it looks like paws. You guys see that?
Come.
Look at this other rabbit's foot right here. That's not cloven footed. It has paws. Look at his front feet. So we can automatically see that the Bible's telling the truth again. A rabbit is not cloven footed. It does not have a part in its hoof. In fact, rabbits don't have hooves. Right? Keep going.
He is unclean to you.
So rabbits, conies, we cannot be eating. It is unlawful to eat because it says that it is unclean unto us. Right? And whatever animal does not have a part in the hoof and that is cloven footed and chews the cud, we are not allowed to eat according to God. All right? Keep going.
Verse 7. And the swine.
And the what?
The swine.
What's a swine? I'm pretty sure everyone, what's that?
A pig.
A what?
A pig.
A pig. Let's look this up for people who don't believe me. People say, oh, God said you can't eat swine. He didn't say nothing about pork. He didn't say nothing about bacon. And it'll be Christians that say this. It'll be Catholics that say, God said you can't eat swine, but he didn't say nothing about pigs. And people don't understand that swine is just another way to say a pig. Look at all these beautiful swines right here. These are pigs. Keep going.
Though he divide the hoof.
Though he the what?
Though he divide the hoof.
So pig, right? Its feet are divided. Look. Although it divide the hoof, you see its toes up here, right? And then the hoof up here is divided. It's completely separated from each other. Not like the camel, right? Look at another one right here. You can see even the hoof is split down the middle completely, and then has two. It's cloven footed, right? Keep going.
And be cloven footed, yet he cheweth not the cud.
He cheweth not the cud. So what is this saying? My brother?
It's telling you that the swine, his hoof is divided and he's cloven footed. He matched the criteria for the feet, but he doesn't chew the cud.
He doesn't what?
He doesn't chew the cud.
What do you mean by that?
He doesn't digest his food twice.
Correct. The pig doesn't eat its food in its mouth, breaks it down, puts it back into the stomach breaks it down, then spits it back into its mouth to chew again, break it down more, and then back into its stomach. The pig does not do that. The pig just eats it and just ingests it. It don't eat just anything. Sorry, let me correct that. Pigs eat anything and everything, from dead humans to the vomit of dogs to other animals. If you feed it, it'll eat slops, garbage. It'll eat maybe some grass, but it does not chew the cud. And right here, we're learning how pork, bacon, pulled pork shoulder, and the Spanish people that, Hispanics, the Northern Kingdom, they like to have pernil, but pork or put some pork in their pasteles or empanadas or whatnot. You cannot eat anything that comes from a pig, which is so crazy because these devils, these oppressors, these children that rule over us find some type of way to put pork in everything. They put pork in Pop-Tarts. They used to have it in Skittles. They have it in Welch's fruit snacks, right? In the form of gelatin. You gotta be careful. I grew up loving honey glazed turkey. Right? You go to the deli, you go to the mom and pop store, you get you a hero with some honey glazed turkey, some mayo, some Swiss cheese. Honey glazed turkey is made with gelatin. Last time I checked, that particular gelatin was made from pork based. All these people that are eating honey glazed turkey, it tastes sweet, got that nice honey flavor to it, are eating unknowingly pork. Now, I don't know the different types of brands of honey glazed turkey, right? But I know Boar's Head, I believe Boar's Head may have changed the type of gelatin that it uses for its honey glaze, right? But pork-based gelatin is in so many products that you wouldn't even believe. It could be in lipstick. It can be your favorite lip gloss, right? These are things that we cannot be consuming. And as we learned last class about dead animals, dead animals are unclean, especially animals who have died and are considered unclean. We're not supposed to touch the carcass of any of those animals. So by you putting lip gloss on your lips that have pork gelatin on it, you're putting pig on your lips that's been killed. Not knowing that this wrong, this travesty is being done, right? Because this devil, this oppressor, these children that rule over us, find a way to put pork in everything, in your favorite candy, in your favorite shampoo, in your favorite chapstick, in your suntan lotion, in your toothpaste. If they could, well, listen, brothers already brushing their beards down with boar bristles, which is or also pig. Do you know whether that pig was killed first or whether they shaved the hair off the pig first? Because if they killed that pig first, that means you're brushing your hair with dead pig hair. The pig had to die first for you to have that boar's brush that you're rubbing your beard down or trying to make your way spin 360. You know what I mean? So let's keep going. Keep reading, brother.
He is unclean to you.
He's what?
Unclean to you.
Pork, swine, pig, it is unclean to us. Keep going.
Of their flesh shall ye not eat.
Of their what?
Of their flesh shall ye not eat.
But bacon smells so good in the morning. Read it again.
Of their flesh shall ye not eat.
Listen, everyone loves a Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Easter ham with that goddamn pineapple on top with the cherry in the center. Everyone loves that Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, and Christmas Day and Easter Sunday ham. Read it again.
Of their flesh shall ye not eat.
Listen, almost every Southern Kingdom person, I'm just making a general statement, loves chitlins, loves to eat that pig intestine, especially if you grew up in the South. You come from a family of generations that grew up in the South, eating that pig intestine. Read it again.
Of their flesh shall ye not eat.
The northern kingdoms, all my Puerto Ricans and Dominicans, even Haitians, they're northern kingdom. They're southern kingdom, of course, but they're right next to Haiti, right next to DR. They share the same island. The Argentinians, the El Salvadorians, they love that pernil, that pork shoulder, right? We as a whole race of people, we love those ribs. You put a little bit of that honey barbecue, smoky hickory barbecue sauce on those ribs. You let that sit there, man. Them joints is bad. But what does the Lord say?
Of their flesh shall ye not eat.
We're not supposed to even consume anything that comes from a pig. We're not supposed to be eating pork shoulder or pork ribs or pig intestines, and all that stuff. We're not supposed to be eating. Keep going.
And their carcass.
What?
Their carcass.
What does it mean by carcass, brother?
It's a dead body.
A dead body. In this case, it's a dead animal. Of this dead animal, if we see a dead pig, keep going.
Shall ye not touch?
We can touch it.
Ye now touch.
It says we can't even touch the dead pig. So if I see a dead pig, I'm not supposed to touch it. If there's a dead pig somewhere on the farm, we're not supposed to even touch that dead animal. Right? Keep going. They are
unclean to you.
This pig, this swine is unclean to us. So you don't know how those brushes, those wooden brushes that you're spinning your waves out with, that you're brushing down your beard. If you don't know how that boar hair was put onto that brush, you better find out, because you may be brushing your entire face and your entire head with a brush made from dead pig's hair. The pig was killed, dead, and now they have the hair in there. They're putting it into a brush to shape. Yes, sir? They have this dead pig, and they're taking the hair off of it to make that brush that you're using to spin out your waves or shave down your brush. Yes, sir? Yes, sir. Exactly. This also applies to sports equipment. If I'm not mistaken, they used to make basketballs and footballs out of pigskin. That's why we get the term for throwing the pigskin around for football, because that football used to be made out of pig skin. So all your favorite, NFL players doing what's that called? The Heisman, right? Doing the Heisman, holding on to that football back in the day, they were holding on to dear life for that pigskin. Trying to run, getting brain concussions and dying from like brain damage in their later years, all for a pigskin. And it says, what about the pigskin?
Ye shall not touch.
We're not supposed to touch anything from a pig. We're not supposed to eat pig. We're not supposed to touch its skin. I can't believe when my mom would eat pork rinds. You really want to eat just fried pig skin? That's disgusting, right? Keep going.
They are unclean to you.
Now, we're learning about different animals that we can and cannot eat, right? But the animal kingdom is vast and huge. So what kind of animals do you think we can eat that we just learned about right here? What animals can we eat?
Any beast that part of the hoof, the bite of the hoof, lucky, cloven footed, and chew of the cud.
Give me some examples.
Lambs.
Lambs, are you sure?
Yes.
Why?
Because the Most High told us we can eat lamb. We sacrificed lamb.
Okay, I give that to you. I was trying to give him that look like, you sure? I was trying to doubt him. Yeah. So yes, right? A lamb, when you look up, does the lamb chew the cud? It will say yes. When you look up lamb's feet, you will see that it's split and cloven footed. Let's look at it right now. Look. Lamb's foot, right? Look, when you look at a lamb's foot, it's cloven footed and has a part in the hoof. Look at this right here. Right? Where else? What else? Lamb's foot. Come on, Google's sucking today. They must be like, COVID-19 must be hurting them from all the pork they eat at their Google parties, you know, and all the shrimp. We're gonna get to that later. But these are lamb feet, completely split hoof, right? What other animals can we actually eat?
Cows,
Cows, yes. Why?
because they part of the hoof and they chew off the cud.
Okay,
They have multiple stomachs.
okay. What about dogs? Chinese people eat dogs.
Chinese people are the devil.
Yeah.
You can't eat dogs.
Why not?
I don't believe he has a paw. He has a paw. He doesn't have a cloven foot.
But doesn't his paws have, like, you know, the toes are separated from each other? It's separated from the main big spot that's in the center.
That's true, but it's not a hoof.
Okay, but you know, it chooses food.
That's true. You have to do all three though. You have to meet all the requirements.
Okay. Well, a dog doesn't chew the cud. It doesn't chew it in his mouth. The stomach breaks it down, then spits it back up into its mouth. If your dog does do that, you should take it to the vet, because something may be wrong with your dog internally and digestively. All right. What about a horse? Man, those horse be thick as hell, right? You probably make some nice burgers out of horse. Ever had some baby back horse ribs?
Never.
No. So a horse is lawful. Can we eat horse?
I'm not sure, but I do not believe so.
You're not sure? Well, Well, you're in the I.S.U.P.K now. So what should you do if you're not sure?
Make sure.
Make sure. So let's make sure, right? Let's look up a horse's foot. All of you watching at home, this is what you should be doing. There's a horse. Look at his foot here. I don't see no parts. I don't see no cloven footed. Let's try to get one of a bottom of a horse. Look, right? This is his whole hoof. Even in the center, it may look like it's split, but it's still all one hoof. It's not completely parted down the middle. It's not cloven footed. So just off of this, we can't eat a horse. What about deers? I always wanted to eat a deer.
I believe they are lawful.
You believe so? Why?
They probably beat the crowd. I just believe. I don't know.
You believe it? Listen, you said the correct answer a moment ago. Let's look it up. Let's look up a deer's foot. Oh, look at that. What do you know? As a part in the hoof and it's cloven footed. So we can eat deers then, right?
If he chews the cud.
Oh, look at you. Go in for the save, right? Do deers chew the cud? It says deer have a 4-chambered stomach. The rumen allows for the deer to gather a lot of food at once and then digest it later. The deer bring the food back up into their mouth and chew it again. Look at that. Smart guy. Sir, can you take over for a second? Give me 1 second.
Brother, what are we reading at?
We're in Leviticus chapter 11, verse 9.
Verse 9. All right, so what's some other animals we can eat? Some other beasts. Can we eat a zebra?
It's like, I don't believe so. Zebra is related to a horse. It's probably have the same foot.
Right, so we can't eat no zebra. Can we eat giraffe?
It's a good question.
That's a good question right there. Now, Sean's all good with this Google and typing all of that. I ain't doing all of that. I ain't doing all of that. But I can answer your question. We can eat a giraffe, you know what I'm saying? Which sounds weird, you know what I'm saying? That you can, a giraffe is ugly. You know, who eat giraffe? You know what I'm saying? But a giraffe is something that we can eat. I'll have a shard go over that. He can type it all in there and bring it up for you and all of that. But a giraffe is something that we can eat. I never had no giraffe meat. And if they were selling giraffe meat, I wouldn't eat it. You know what I'm saying? But it's something that we can eat. You know what I'm saying? Other animals, raccoons, you can't eat. Down south, they eat raccoons, possums, squirrels, rabbits. Those are things we can't consume. You know what I'm saying? The sound, rabbit. I had rabbit before because I lived down south with my grandparents and all of that. So rabbit is something that we can't eat. Ducks we can't eat. There's a line of things we can't eat, and there's some things that of course we can go over that seem very weird, just like a giraffe, right? We went over deer. Some people don't want to eat a deer. You know, think of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and all of that. It's a sensitive topic, you know what I'm saying? My mother's like that. I ain't no damn deer, you know what I'm saying? Because she's that just sounds odd to eat. You understand what I'm saying? And these things, right? These things is not that we can't eat them because there's something wrong with them. Like, it's not that we, like with pig, right? The reason we can't eat pig is why? Why can't we eat pig?
I always thought because he eats everything. He was the garbage disposal for the earth. He was
right. So he'll turn around and eat his own feces. You know what I'm saying? What about a chicken? Chickens do the same thing though. So why can't we eat chicken? They nasty too. They eat their own feces and do all this other stuff. Why can we eat chicken and not eat a pig? Go ahead.
Because the pig doesn't chew the cud.
That's true. It's more of a simple thing, right? This is the law class, right? So the main reason we can't eat these things is because God said we can't.
That's right.
That's right. It's not philosophical. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, not because the pig, you know, so they break it down with the job. All that's good to know, you know what I'm saying? But the reason we can't do it is because the Most High God said we just can't do it. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what makes things very simple. You know what I'm saying? God said we can't. That's just it. You know, so somebody try to break it down on the street. They try to get off philosophical with the garbage and all of that. The main reason we don't do the things is because the Most High God just said we can't. If he said we eat pig, then we'll eat it. You understand what I'm saying? If they said we could eat zebra, then we'll eat it. You know what I'm saying? But the Most High God said we can't. That's the whole base of the law class. You understand what I'm saying? You good? All right, come on up. I asked the brothers and this is about giraffe.
So was that a yes or no? Can we eat giraffe?
The brother said we can't. Yes, can't.
You did? Well, sign credit. I would love some. Yeah. Okay, let's check it out. This is a giraffe foot. Look at that giraffe foot. Part hoof. Completely split down the middle. Look at that. Now let's see if it chews a cud. Giraffes are ruminants and have a stomach with 4 compartments that digest the leaves they eat. When they aren't eating, they're chewing their cud. So right here is letting you know that giraffes have 4 stomachs and they chew the cud, which is the food that goes into the stomach and back up into the mouth. So yes, we should all be trying to get some giraffe neck stew, right? That can feel like, you know what I'm saying? You know, they put turkey neck in the stew. That's not enough meat for me, right? You can put some giraffe neck That joint will be meaty as hell, man. You know what I'm saying? So yes, we can eat giraffe. All right. What verse did you leave off at, sir? We're saying okay. What about one more? What about this very popular animal? Yes, sir. Moose. Who thinks you can eat moose? Right? So I know people eat cow tongue. Can you eat moose tongue? You know, you got oxtails. What about moose tail?
I'm not sure, so let's make sure.
Oh, give that brother a hand. Let's make sure. Let's make sure. Let's go back over here. So for everyone that's watching online, this is exactly what you should be doing. As you're learning these laws, find out what you can and cannot eat. Moose foot, right? Oh, look at that. Look, it's cloven footed. It got a split in its hoof. Let me see if I can find a better. Look at this. Split in its hoof. Cloven footed. That's bottom of an elk moose and a deer. Look at this moose. This elk moose has a clear part in its hoof and it's cloven footed. Just like this deer right here next to it. Split right down its hoof and cloven footed. Now do moose chew the cud? Anyone want to make a bet? Want to throw some dice? Right? Drum roll. Moose have a digestive system similar to domestic cattle. So how many stomachs does a cow have?
2.
Okay. They are rudiments and have 4 parts to their stomach. Following eating periods, they will rest and return their partially digested food from their stomach to their mouths to chew the cud. Look at that. So yes, moose burger sounds good. We need to go to like some Native American powwow and ask for moose and bison burger and buffalo burger. Officer Shalayala led a group to go to Randall's Island where they had this Native American powwow for Indigenous Peoples Day, and we had bison burger, and we had deer sausages and deer hot dogs. It was slamming, good. Like give me some more. You know what I mean? Right? Think about that bison burger was good. I've been seeing some brothers getting huge buffalo burgers. Them joints be like this big. Buffalo burger. You get me some buffalo. It's like ship that to me. FedEx it overnight. Put some dry ice in there. You know what I mean? Wrap it up, aluminum foil, tin foil, something like that. Bring that sucker to me, man. Well, put some sazon, some seasoning on it, some garlic powder, some onions, saute. Listen, I can only think about all the things I would do with some moose. All right, let's get in. So let's move away from all these land animals, right? We know we can't eat cats and dogs and rabbits, like the Chinese do and like Africans do and white people, So let's move into things that swim or in the water, right? Let's like frogs and salmon and shark and whales. Let's see what we can eat. Keep Leviticus 9. Leviticus 11 and verse 9.
Leviticus chapter 11, verse 9. These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters.
What?
These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters.
So God is letting us know these are the type of animals that we can eat that are in the waters. Keep going.
Whatsoever have fins
Have
and
what?
fins and scales
And what?
And scales
Keep going.
in the waters, in the seas, and in the rivers, them shall ye eat.
So in ponds, in lakes, in streams, in rivers, in the Gulf of Mexico, in the Mediterranean Sea, in the Atlantic Ocean, in the Indian Ocean, in the Arctic Sea or Arctic Ocean, in the Baltic Sea, you know, and if you're down south in those marshes down there, right, and those swamps, whatever is in those waters, if they have fins
and
scales, not one or the other, they have to have both fins and scales. Them ye shall eat. Them shall ye eat. We can eat animals that have fins and scales. Keep going.
And all that have not fins and scales in the seas and in the rivers, of all that move in the waters, and of any living thing which is in the waters, they shall be an abomination unto you.
So anything that comes from the water that does not have fins and scales, we cannot eat. What animals do you know that live in the water that does not have fins and scales? Brother?
Shrimps, crabs, lobsters,
Shrimps
catfish.
do not have scales. They have that one little tail fin in the back, right? So do lobsters, that one little fin, but no scales, right? What else did you say?
Catfish.
Catfish, they have fins, but they have no scales. They're slimy, you know, and you know their body is all wiggly, and they have whiskers, look like a cat in the water. What else?
Octopus.
Octopus definitely doesn't have no fins and no scales. Yes, sir. Can we eat catfish?
No,
Why not?
because he doesn't have fins and scales. He doesn't have scales, Salaki. And Most High said you can't.
Listen, I could have been lying to you. I could have just said that catfish, you know, they're just slimy and don't have no scales. And you were just believing me. He was like, yeah, you know, shaking his head. Let's find out.
There we go. You gotta make sure.
Let's go. So first, do catfish have fins? It says a catfish has 3 fins, a dorsal fin on the top and 2 pectoral fins on either side of the body. Okay. Now, do they have scales? Ooh, what does it say here? Catfish do not have scales. Their bodies are often naked. In some species, the mucus-covered skin is used in continuous respiration, where the fish breathes through its skin. That just sounds nasty. You want to eat a fish that's covered in boogers? The skin makes the boogers, and that's how he eats. Right? Doesn't it sound good? Well, we want to see what kind of flavor boogers have. A booger flavored fish boogers. Right? You know, they have the snot flavored jelly bean. Well, we have a snot flavored fish. So we cannot eat catfish. And many people in the South love catfish. They grew up eating catfish down in Florida. Yes, sir? Down in Florida, Mississippi, Missouri, or Missouri, depending on how you want to say it, they eating catfish. Or Arkansas or Arkansas, depending on what you eat, they eat catfish. It's true. Arkansas or Arkansas, however you grew up pronouncing it, they eat catfish. That's what they like it. They grow up eating that. In Louisiana and Tennessee, you know, they eat catfish. Sis? What? Tuna. Woo. This is a highly controversial, right? Tuna fins. It says fins are not really the most noticeable thing about the tuna, but fins, it turns out, are one of the weirdest things about these fast-swimming fish. So a tuna does have fins. Here's an example of a tuna right here, a yellow tuna fish. Now, you know, there's different types of tunas, right? Now, I guess the next question would be, does tunas have scales? It says, do tunas have scales? It says yes. All species do. But scales are so small over most of the body as to be nearly invisible. And this is the big controversy with tuna, right? Because if it's something so small, can we see the coronavirus? Why?
It's invisible.
It's what?
Invisible.
Tuna, it says they have scales, but they're so small that they're
Invisible.
How can you see the coronavirus?
Can't.
You can with high-tech microscopes and lenses and infrared and all this type of stuff. So how do you think Moses saw the scales on a tuna?
He didn't.
He did. There's no way to tell back then that tunas had scales. It looked like it didn't have scales, so therefore it would have been an animal, a fish that we did not eat. Now, here, yes, sir. Yes. I was just about to say that. And here in the I.S.U.P.K, not only do we like to make sure and be sure, we also like to play it safe. We also like to make sure we're better safe than sorry. So if our ancestors couldn't tell if a tuna had scales, most likely they did not eat it. If I can't go to the fish market right here and look at the scales of a tuna, I know to myself I wouldn't be eating it because my eye cannot see its scales. Right? Let's find an animal that does have fins and does have scales. One of my popular fish, salmon. It says salmon scales. Look, we can see a picture right here. I don't need a microscope for this. I can go fishing in the waters of Lake Minnetonka, like Prince said, if you want to get purified, right? You can come right here and I can see the scales on this salmon. I can see it. I don't need a microscope. I don't need anyone telling me that it's invisible, almost to the point that it's invisible. I can physically see it. When we go fishing with Moses and Christ in the kingdom, when they return, right? When they get reincarnated, we're gonna be fishing and we're like, oh, that has fins. I can see the fins. I can see its scales. What's this? Oh, that's a yellowfish tuna. I can see the fins, but I don't see the scales. It feels like it has no scales, sir. Correct. So, listen, if you want to eat tuna, Lord be with you. That's on you. However, here in the I.S.U.P.K, we're trained to make sure that we're always on the right side of the Lord, and we always want to be safe than sorry. So we do not push or promote eating tuna. All right?
What about
Whiting. All right. The whiting fish, right? Whiting fish, I think that's how you spell it. Is it whitefish or whiting? Whiting? Let me look that up. Whiting. The fish, originally known by the name whiting in English, is a Merlangus, weird name, in the family of the Gadiidae. This species inhabits the eastern Atlantic and Mediterranean Sea, as well as the North Sea and the east coast of Britain, right? Let's see if it has scales. That's haddock. Hold on. It said the white Pacific whiting has tiny scales with super poor adhesion. Most are rubbed off during capture. Spelling it WHITING. Whiting. Hold on 1 second. Whiting. So it's let's let's go on. You said WHLING. I see wood carvings. I'm just seeing wood carvings. That's a bass. I think it might be spelled whiting because I got all the results for that. Let's see what Wikipedia has to say. There's many different types of whiting. Right? I see the haddock fish have scales that are scarcely visible through the mucus with which their skin is coated. On this kosher website, it's labeling whiting, also codfish, as kosher or lawful to eat that has fins and scales. So everything that I'm finding is pointing to the fact that it does have scales. Some are very scarce, so it's invisible to see because it has like a mucus covering, and that they're poorly stuck onto them. So when you capture them, they easily come off and rub off when you're capturing them, when you're bringing them onto the boat, when you're grabbing them. So I would say it's okay to eat codfish and whiting fish because it has fins and it has the scales. All right. Any other examples? Sardines. People really eat sardines? I never ate a sardines. What? Look up sardine scales. They have a single dorsal fin and no scales on the head. Sardine, any of certain food fishes of the herring family. Do-do-do-do-do. Come on, I don't want to all these ads, you know? All right. Sardines are small, silvery, elongated fishes with a single dorsal fin, no lateral line, and no scales on the head. So it's saying it has no scales on the head, which would lead me to believe they have scales on the rest of their body, but let's just check it out. Do sardines have scales? This right here is saying, the answers.com is saying that they have fins and scales and that they're members of the herring family. Well, sir, I think we're safe with that one. I think you're good. So, you know, keep enjoying your sardine mustard sandwiches. For me, I'm just not going to eat it because I just don't like. The only canned fish I eat is salmon. Yeah, it just, you know, just thinking about all the fish. You can see the fish right there. Like, chop it up or something, you know what I mean? Okay, Leviticus, back to the book of Leviticus, chapter 11, verse 11.
Chapter 11, verse 11. They shall be an abomination unto you. Ye shall not eat of their flesh, but ye shall have their carcasses in abomination.
So all these different animals that come from the waters that don't have fins, that don't have scales, we cannot touch them. We cannot touch their carcass. We should not be eating them. They are unclean unto us, right? Keep going.
Whatsoever hath no fins nor scales in the waters, that shall be an abomination unto you.
Didn't they already say this? Why do you think it's repeating itself, brother?
Make sure you got it.
Yes, because we're some stubborn, stuck-up, stiff-necked, ignorant, disobedient people. And you tell us not to do something, we're going to do it anyway. You tell us not to touch the stove when we're young. As soon as you walk away, we're touching that stove. I just seen a bunch of videos online where the parent is telling the kid, look, they put in the goldfish in front of them. They put in the child's favorite snack in front of them in a cup and a bowl. They're setting up a camera somewhere so that way the kid can't see it. And they're saying, don't eat this. Don't eat this until I come back. Mommy or daddy, we just have to go pee-pee. We just have to go use the bathroom. I'm going to go get some water. Don't touch it. Don't eat it until I come back. You know, you get some kids that look like they're good, no? They don't eat until the parent comes back. I saw one video as soon as the kid left, just dogging on the marshmallows, right? The parent comes back. Did you eat the marshmallows? Nope. We're so disobedient. One kid, he realized that the camera was facing him. So he sees himself picking the thing up, about to eat it. He looks at himself in the camera because he can see the screen at him and puts it back down. Then the mom comes and asks, did you eat it? He's like, no. Little nigga was just about to eat his goldfish. You know what I'm saying? We're stiff-necked. We're stubborn. We're disobedient naturally. And this is why the Lord always ends up putting things again and again and stating it back to back like we're seeing here right now. Because leave it up to a bunch of blacks and Hispanics will go eat some crab because we just love it. That butter sauce, you melt the butter. Oh man. I'm not saying this from experience. I'm just saying because watching people eat it and they're just like drooling butter in the lobster. You know, me it was pork. I used to eat pork all the time because I grew up in a Hispanic household. Right, that pork cooking on Thanksgiving. Oh man, that was heaven. Forget the turkey. No dark meat, no white meat. Let me get some pork shoulder. That was me. All right, let's go on to verse 13.
And these, Salaki, and these are they which ye shall have an abomination among the fowls.
Stop. What's an abomination, brother?
Something that you don't want you doing is
Yeah, but more harder than that. What's an abomination?
it's a disgrace.
Oh, not really. What's because like eating your boogers, there's no law against eating your boogers, but my sister grew up and we used to make fun of her for eating her boogers, and that was a disgrace. But there's no law against eating your boogers, right?
Right.
So what's an abomination?
A sin.
I guess you can consider a sin, but it's not. It's not. No. Anyone else want to take a sister? Want to take a guess? Don't cheat. Well, actually, making sure would probably be the best way to check. Grace? Well, let's Google it. A thing that causes disgust or hatred. That's an abomination. Let's get some other definitions, right? According to dictionary.com, abomination is something that is vile, shameful, detestable action. So it will be a disgraceful action. It'll be a shameful action. It'll be a vile and nasty and just disgusting action. Like, yes, sir. Yes. So it is a sin, but it is more than just a regular old sin. It is more than just lying, It's you sleeping with a white woman. That's an abomination. You eating pork, that is an abomination. What we're about to read right now, if you eat any of these animals, it's an abomination, a disgusting act. Homosexuals, that's an abomination. It is a disgusting, vile, wicked act according to God. All right, keep going.
And these are they which ye shall have an abomination among the fowls. They shall not be eaten. They are an abomination. The
The
eagle,
what?
the eagle,
So, sis, when you asked that question earlier,
I asked if is an eagle something that we could eat?
is the eagle something that we can eat?
Because it's part of the bird family. You get the fowls and it's
Okay.
an abomination. I guess we can't eat it, right?
No, because it is an abomination. Damn, so those eagle wings, right? Those lemon peppered eagle wings, right? Those Parmesan garlic eagle wings. Who likes it hot? Who likes spicy food here? The curry eagle wings, right? Those South Carolina reaping peppers, whatever you want to call them, them really hot ones. You can't eat eagle wings. There's no eagle wings and French fries. You can't be eating that. You can't go with Buffalo Wild Wings and order a 20 piece of eagle wings because they're 50 cents each wing, right? There's none of that. Keep going.
and the ossifrage.
Ostrich.
Ostrich.
What's an ostrich?
Sound like ostrich.
Sound like ostrich? Let's look it up. It's archaic form of saying osprey, which is the next word. Keep going. Read the next word.
And the osprey.
The osprey, right? So ostrich and osprey are old ways of saying a fish hawk, a large hawk that feeds on fish. So it's a hawk, right?
Okay.
So we can't eat hawks. So no hawk, no hawk wings, none of that. No hawk thighs, no hawk legs, none of that. None of that good stuff. Keep going. Next verse.
Verse 14. And the vulture.
The what?
The vulture.
That creepy looking bird that's naked on an entire neck. You ever seen a vulture? They look ugly as hell. You never seen a vulture? Have you ever seen a vulture? No? Let's look at what a vulture looks like. These are some ugly looking birds. I wouldn't, even if they were lawful, I wouldn't want to eat a vulture. Look how ugly this thing looks. That's a ugly looking bird. It's like naked on his head. They are ugly. They just look nasty. Look at his neck. They just look unedible. They look spoiled. That's what it looks like. Because they eat roadkill. They can eat dead animals, rotting animals. That's what they will eat. Yeah, miss me with that BS. I ain't, no vulture for me. Keep going.
And the kite after his kind.
The what?
The kite after his kind.
The kite. What's that? Anyone can guess what a kite is?
It'll be like the brother or sister to the vulture. It'd be in the same family.
No, they're in the same family as hawks. They're in the hawk family. They're just smaller. They feed on insects, carrion, reptiles, rodents, and other birds. So there's another way of saying a hawk, a different kind of hawk. Keep going.
Every raven.
A what?
Every raven.
Anyone ever seen a raven? You guys know what ravens are? Yeah, can't eat any kind of raven.
After his kind. And the owl.
The what?
The owl.
Owl, so we can't eat owls. Keep going.
And the nighthawk.
Another hawk we can't eat.
And the cacao.
The what?
Cacao.
The cuckoo.
Cuckoo.
The cuckoo. Let's see what that is.
Sluggy. And the cuckoo and the hawk after his kind.
Right?
And the little owl.
Hold on. Right, this is showing us examples of the cuckoo. Bird that looks like this. They have sharp talons. They have a sharp beak. There's another cuckoo. Right? So this is a cuckoo. They're in the same family as road runners, right? So we can't eat this bird. We can't eat any bird from the cuckoo family like road runners, right? Keep going.
And the little owl.
And the what?
And the little owl.
We can't eat no owls, like I said before.
And the cormorant.
The what?
Cormorant.
The cormorant. What's a cormorant?
Not sure. Gotta make sure.
All right. it says it's a seabird. It's part of the seabird family. They have a long neck and descendable pouch under the bill for holding captured fish. So you ever seen those like a stork? No, not a stork. Those big fish that they have those big mouths and they have the big throat and they can just swallow fish and leave. Not like a seagull. Yeah, like something like a pelican, right? Let's look it up. How many of you guys did this in church? Actually sat down and like, let's guys, we gotta break it down. God doesn't wants us to eat these things and not these things. How many of you guys took the time and sat down with pastor, with the preacher, with the deacon Shirley, deaconess Shirley, or prophetess Tamika, or the voodoo queen, right? Or Deacon Earl, right? Or Brother Bob, right? Or Pastor Francis, or Pastor give me an Italian name. Father Marchetti, or Father Salvatore, right? How many of you sat in church and did this? I never did. I never did this at all. Right? Look at all these birds, right? That eat fish, can put it down his throat. Right here, look at this eating this fish. That fish is gone. So these birds hunt fish, they eat fish, they swim in fish. Look at this. Talking about too much, right? Don't something about eating too much more than you can chew. Don't bite too much more than you can chew. Something like that. What's that phrase?
Eyes bigger than your stomach.
Eyes bigger than their stomach, right? Look at that. Look at this. This is what they're talking about. The cormorant. Now you said pelican. I think a pelican is very similar. Oh, hell yeah. Look at that. Look at that big throat. Yeah, you can't have pelican wings. No pelican neck in your stew. None of that. Look at that. The fish is just sitting there in its throat like, yeah, that's the pouch. Like, where is that going? Like, yeah, you stuck. You wanna know how you choke to death? Right here. This is how you choke to death. All right? Let's get back to these scriptures.
And the great owl.
Again, how many times does it have to say you cannot eat an owl? Whether it's the regular owl, little owl, a great owl, you cannot eat owl. Keep going.
And the swan.
We all know the swan, right? The ugly duckling that was black and turned into the beautiful swan. You can't eat that.
And the pelican.
The what?
And the
We
pelican.
just showed you the pelican. It's right here. Keep going.
And the gear eagle.
And the what?
Gear eagle.
We can't eat eagles. Again, sis, no eagles. Even if it's a gear eagle, no eagle wings, no eagle legs, none of that. No roasted, no sauteed, no baked, no fried, no deep fried, no barbecued, no eagle. Keep going.
And the stork.
The what?
And the stork.
So that animal that comes around and drops your baby off at home, you know? That's how your daughter and little man over here came. The stork just came, drop it off, special delivery, you know? We in the hood, so we knocking mad hard on the window, on the door, no bell to ring. Baby, boom. We can't eat no stork. Keep going.
The heron after
what?
her kind. The heron.
What's a heron? Not the drug, but the bird.
Not sure. Let's make sure.
All right. Any of numerous long-legged, long-neck, usually long-billed birds of the family Ardiidae, some scientific Greek Latin term. Why is it that they always use some Greek or some Latin word or name to define and name animals and stars, including the true herons, the egrets, the night herons, and the bitterns, right? So let's look at what it looks like. Right here, you can't eat these herons, these storks, right? And if I'm not mistaken, ostriches are long legs, like it says, long neck, right? Ostrich got a long neck, usually a long-billed animal. Ever seen a ostrich's beak? Yeah, maybe it's not that long, but it's pretty big to me. That's a big, big ass head. All right, let's keep going.
And the lapwings.
The what?
The lapwing.
What's a lapwing?
Not sure. Let's make sure.
All right. A large old world plover having a long, slender, upcurved crest and erratic flapping flight and shrill voice and shrill cry. So what's a plover? A plover. Any of the various shorebirds of the family Cadrea. So shorebirds, birds are on the shore, right? A bird that frequents seashores. The snipe, the sandpiper, the plover, the turnstone, a limecoat. Well, the birds are famous for being on the seashores. Seagulls. You cannot eat seagulls. All right? Keep going.
And the bat.
The what?
The bat.
The what?
And the bat.
Chinese people eat what?
Bat.
They make what kind of stew?
Bat.
They make what kind of soup?
Bat.
The reason why people are saying that we have coronavirus is because people are eating what?
Bat.
So here, coronavirus, shit is getting real. It's saying right here, you cannot eat bat. But we have people, you know, biblically speaking and scientifically speaking, that have that are mongoloids, which is a Down syndrome feature. That's why we have Asians, Chinese, and Japanese, and Filipinos, and Vietnamese, and Taiwanese, and Thailand all have mongoloid features looking like they have Down syndrome because the ancient forefather and foremothers were father and daughter. These people, they like to eat
bat.
And that's why the Lord has sent. That's one of the reasons why the Lord has sent the coronavirus. COVID-19 came from people wanting to eat
bat.
And here, God said that we cannot eat
bats.
So don't eat bat. Stop eating bats. Don't take your annual yearly trip to the Orient, to Asia, and want to try all those exotic cuisines. Bat is not one of those foods you should be eating. All right? Let's leave the bat alone. All right? Keep going.
Leviticus chapter 11, verse 20. All fowls that creep, going upon all four, shall be an abomination unto you.
Now, when it's saying all fowls that creep, going on all fours, who's ever seen a hawk hunt and eat? Or who's seen an eagle hunt and eat? Or who's seen vultures go hunt and eat?
I watched this animal channel. You talking about how they get low?
Yes, that's exactly what happens. They get low, their wings come out, and looks like their wings are on the ground and they're hunched over. That's going upon all fours. That's creeping. So any bird that does that, we cannot eat. All right? Next verse.
Yet these may ye eat of every flying, creeping thing that goeth upon all fours, which have legs above their feet, to leap withal upon the earth.
What the hell does that mean? What does that mean? Right? Imagine hearing this on Sunday, and Pastoress Shirley, you know, and Father Monticello is going over this. What does that mean? Because I never seen anyone raise their hand in church and ask a question while the priest was teaching or reading the Psalms of this person and the Gospel of Luke, and no one raised their hand to ask questions during Sunday Mass. So what do you think this means? Leviticus 11 and 21. Sis?
Talking about chickens.
Chickens?
The way how chicken is, their legs are not, but their feet they have. Who have legs? Two legs, which have legs above their feet and leap with all of their.
Well, all birds have legs above their feet.
We can eat the eagle. So we eat the chicken.
Are chickens creeping? Like when you hear something creeping, what do you think? Something's creeping on you, or you feel like something's creeping on you. Yes, sir. Yes. Right? That's creeping, right? It's saying of every flying, creeping thing. So it's talking about insects here, right? Any insects that can fly, that go upon all four, right? Which have legs above their feet to leap with all upon the earth. What do you think that is then? Brother?
Grasshoppers?
Grasshoppers? That is a perfect guess. But are you just guessing?
No, grasshoppers leap. They jump all over the place. It's an insect.
But
Got
are
4
their
legs.
legs above their feet?
Yes.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay, he's confident in his answer. What? Frogs, do they fly? But they don't fly. What about flies? Flies fly, right? And they creep. Bees do that too. The murder hornet. Watch out for the murder hornet, guys. One sting can paralyze you and cause you severe pain. 10 stings can kill you, you know? Brother?
Can you eat the murder hornet?
Huh?
Can you eat the murder hornet?
Let's find out. Keep going. Verse 22.
Even these of them ye may eat.
So now we're going to get some examples of what verse 21 is talking about. Keep going.
The locust.
The what?
The locust.
All those things that are plaguing the Middle East and in Northeast Africa, destroying all their crops. Give a clap to the Most High for another plague, like he did back in Egypt. All those what?
The locusts.
All those locusts. Keep going.
After his kind.
So all types of locusts. Keep going.
And the bold locust.
Again, more locusts.
After his kind. And the beetle.
All types of beetles.
And the grasshopper after his kind.
Right. He was right. He did the grasshopper. Now, all these insects, they fly. They have wings. And all of them leap upon the earth, right?
Right.
But let's get a better example of what it means that its legs are above its feet, right? Is the locust feet. Look at his locust feet. Its legs are above its feet. See how his leg comes, this is his foot right here. It comes up and is back down. Even when it comes down, it's still above his feet. Look at this cricket right here. Same thing. His legs are above his feet, and he uses that to jump upon the earth. All upon the earth, right? And let's look at roaches. These nasty looking things. Look, the roach, everything's all together. They're parallel to each other. They're side by side. I've never seen a roach fly. I've never seen a roach leap. I've never seen a roach jump from here to here like a grasshopper or a cricket or a locust or, you know. I've never seen a roach ever do that. So it can't eat roaches. Right? Beetles. Look at some examples of leaping beetles. Right? Right? They look crazy. They can leap. They can walk all upon the earth. They fly. So these are things that we can't eat. Keep going. Verse 23.
All other flying, creeping things which have 4 feet shall be an abomination unto you.
So all the other bugs that can fly and have 4 feet, right,
are an abomination unto
are an
you.
abomination unto you. Keep going.
And for these ye shall be unclean. Whosoever toucheth the carcass of them shall be unclean until the even.
And you cannot eat these things. You can't even touch their dead bodies. Keep going.
The carcasses of every beast which divideth the hoof, and is not cloven-footed, nor cheweth the cud, are unclean unto you.
So what verse are you on?
Salaki.
Verse 25.
25.
Yes.
And whosoever beareth aught of the carcass of them shall wash his clothes and be unclean until the even.
And if you end up touching or having to carry away the dead body of these animals or insects, right, you are unclean and your clothes are unclean and you got to wash them and stay unclean until the sun comes down. All right, keep going. Verse 26.
The carcasses of every beast, the carcasses of every beast which divideth the hoof and is not cloven-footed, nor cheweth the cud, are unclean unto you. Everyone that toucheth them shall be unclean.
So right here it's talking about all the other animals that walk on the earth that are not cloven-footed, parting the hoof, and chew up the cud, like rats, like how Chinese people like to eat, like dogs, like Chinese people like to eat, like cats, like what Chinese people like to eat, like monkeys, which is another thing Chinese people like to eat. Don't eat what Chinese people eat.
That's right.
Now I say, don't be sure, make sure. Better safe than sorry. Better safe than sorry. Do not eat whatever a Chinese person eats. All right? Don't eat. You can't eat any of those animals. Keep going.
And whatsoever goeth upon his paws among all manner of beasts that go on all four, those are unclean unto you. Whoso toucheth their carcass shall be unclean until the even.
So that means we can't eat no lion, no tiger, no bear, no koala, no chinchilla, no mink, no what's that? No lemurs, no groundhogs, no gophers, no beavers, no raccoons. None of that. We can't eat none of these beasts that are not listed on what we can eat. Keep going. We can't even touch their dead bodies.
Leviticus chapter 11, verse 28. And he that beareth the carcass of them shall wash his clothes and be unclean until the evening. They are unclean unto you.
And if you end up coming in contact with their dead body, end up having to remove it from your property, you are unclean, your clothes are dirty, you are dirty. You gotta go wash your clothes and go take a shower. Keep going.
These also shall be unclean unto you among the creeping things that creep upon the earth. The weasel,
The what?
the weasel,
Keep going.
and the mouse,
Keep going.
and the tortoise after his kind.
So we can't eat weasels and ferrets. We can't eat mouse. We can't eat rodents. We can't eat turtles, like turtle soup out in, again, China. We can't eat none of that. Keep going.
And the ferret,
The what?
and the ferret,
Keep going.
and the chameleon,
Keep going.
and the lizards,
Keep going.
and the snail,
Keep going.
and the mole.
So listen, those white people like snail or escargot, whatever you want to call it, fried, snails that they pass around as hors d'oeuvres. Don't be like white people. Do not eat snails. Do not eat mussels. Do not eat raw clams. And please don't be like Chinese people. Do not roast your lizard. Do not bake your lizard. Don't put your lizard in aluminum foil with peppers and all types of crazy ingredients, and then bake it. Don't do that. You cannot eat snakes. You cannot eat lizards, all right? Keep going. And you cannot eat moles. I know they ruin your crops. They eat your food. They may cause damage to your house. Poor little Diglett. You still cannot eat Diglett, all right? Pokemon reference, he didn't get it. Can you eat a Diglett? Why?
is unclean.
That's right. Give a little man a clap. Because when you look up what a diglet is, it says it's a mole. I know that because I used to be a Pokemon fan. So you cannot eat moles, all right? Keep going.
These are unclean to you among all that creep. Whosoever doth touch them, when they be dead, shall be unclean until the even.
Again, you can't even eat these things. You can't even touch these things when they die. Otherwise, you're unclean. You got to take a shower. You got to wash your clothes. You know, you got to probably put them in an extra rinse cycle. And you got to take a shower. You're unclean until the sun goes down. Keep going.
And upon whatsoever any of them, when they are dead, doth fall, it shall be unclean, whether it be any vessel of wood, or raiment, or skin, or sack, whatsoever vessel it be, wherein any work is done, it must be put into water, and it shall be unclean until the evening. So shall so it shall be cleansed.
So if any of these unclean animals die and they fall on you or they touch you, your raiment, your skin, your sacks, your vessels. So let's say your cat drowns in your big crate of water. You gotta throw that water out, wash that crate down, wait till the sun goes down so it can be clean again. If your dog dies on your favorite comforter, you gotta scrub that comforter, wash it with soap and water, hang it out to dry, and wait till the sun goes down for it to be clean again. Understood? Any questions on that? No? Keep going.
And every earthen vessel whereinto any of them falleth, whatsoever is in it shall be unclean, and ye shall break it.
Now, back in the day, we had a lot of clay pots, clay bowls. Clay was a big thing to us, right? So if one of these animals died in your clay pot that you kept stored water or bread or grain or seeds, you would have to break that clay pot, that clay bowl, that clay cup, destroy it. Keep going.
Leviticus chapter 11, verse 34. Of all meat which may...
Verse 40. Wait, sorry. Go to verse 42.
Verse 2, verse 42. Whatsoever goeth upon the belly, and whatsoever goeth upon all fours, or whatsoever have more feet among all creeping things that creep upon the earth, them shall ye not eat, for they are an abomination.
So anything that goes on its belly, like a snake, you cannot eat. Anything that goes upon all fours that wasn't labeled here, you cannot eat. Anything that has 100 legs, 8 legs, that has a 1,000 legs, like a millipede, any of those nasty little creatures, you cannot eat. You shall not eat them because they are a what?
An abomination.
They are an abomination, a disgusting thing. You thinking that you roasting some centipedes on a stick over a fire, but have some roasted centipede, that is a disgusting thing you're about to do to the Lord. Verse 44.
Verse 44. For I am the most high power. Ye shall therefore sanctify yourselves, and ye shall be holy, for I am holy. Neither shall ye defile yourselves with any manner of creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth.
Listen, and we gotta obey. Yes, sir, counselor. And we gotta obey the Lord because the Lord says He's holy, so we should be holy, and we shouldn't defile ourselves, make ourselves unclean by disobeying Him and eating any one of these animals or birds or insects that are considered unclean. Verse 45. No, sir, bro. Take your time.
Verse 45. Leviticus chapter 11, verse 45. For I am the most high that bringeth you up out of the land of Egypt. To be your God, ye shall therefore be holy, for I am holy.
And the Lord, the one that brought you out of Egypt, that put all those plagues to hit Egypt, right? He said not to do these things. He said He wants you to be holy because He's holy. All right? And right there, we're going to end class. Right there. All right? So clap it up for a good class. For all the brothers and sisters that are watching online, Shalom, Yahweh Hashem sharp with thumb to the brothers, Yahweh Shema thumb Hashem Shai to the sisters, all right? We're going to end the live stream right now. Until Tuesday, I'll see you guys soon.